Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run.
Welcome to be my guest. This is Jan Lewis. Welcome today. We had Gregory Ballan. He's an author. He wrote a sci-fi book called Lost Sons, The Fall of the New Atlantis. Paul, get a touch of this. I met Gregory at the Hopedale Library. There was an author's night there. And also one of our very dear authors, Glenn Ickler, was there.
Yeah.
You were there, Glenn, and there was another lady who's been on the show. I can't remember.
Erin was there.
Erin, yeah, she was on there too. And you did a great job presenting this. I had never seen a cover. This is cool. Did you pick that out?
No, the cover artist for my publisher
okay.
did it, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you didn't totally self-publish it. You had someone else help.
Yeah, Lachesis Publishing.
Okay, all right. So
And
let me give
Lauren
you.
Givens.
So what we'll do is we'll do a briefing. Now, all right, this has got a guy who lives in modern times, and he's a Viking warrior. He turns into a dragon at the end, I think. He carries a Viking sword. He has supernatural powers, and he's isolated. Take it from there. I got it.
Okay, what it's called, I call it contemporary urban science fiction. Weird things happen in current times,
Yeah.
and how would a normal person react to it? And when I started the concept of Lost Sons, I had the idea for it back in the 80s.
And you waited this long.
Well, it's funny because you have it and you put it in the back burner.
Yeah.
And I started doing other things, and you get involved with your kids and everything else. And I started writing books in the early 2000s, and I got lucky with the hybrid series that did really well. And my son was scavenging a laptop computer. He's like, "Dad, do you want this?"
Yeah.
So, well, before you destroy it, let me look at it.
Yeah.
And so I started going through it. I'm like, I remember that. Lost Sons. Wow. I did like 10 or 15 pages of it. I said, oh, I've been going to pick this up.
Yeah.
And I started out trying to make a big 1,000-page George R. Martin-esque deep study.
Yeah.
And my publisher at the time was like, well, that's great, but we're not going to publish a 1,000-page book.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to cut it in half.
Yeah.
And it was still too big, and then I had to cut the half into 3/4.
And you're a busy guy. I don't know where you found the
Yeah.
time. You work 7 days a week.
Yeah, I work at the Air Force, and I work at the Hopedale, the Draper Mill.
Good
on the weekends.
night. When
So-
do you find time to write? When the kids are asleep. They're not, they're grown.
When they're asleep, in between shifts, I'll sit down with my laptop.
Yeah.
I'll get home from work, and I'll instead of watching TV, you sit down and you take notes. Or I'll haunt a coffee shop after work and pull the laptop out, and for me it's a long process to do it. And that book, Lost Sons, took about 3.5 years.
No wonder
to write
you're
it.
so
Yeah.
busy. I don't know how you did this. So this is Greg's first book. Your first book that's been published.
In this series, this is the third that's been published.
Okay, so it's good. This started the series.
This is the first in the Lost Sons series. Yes.
But he also let it slip to me. You're writing a mystery.
Yes, Glenn inspired me to start a mystery.
Okay, your son inspired you. Oh no, Glenn Ickler.
Yeah.
Oh, naturally. Oh, well, I always kid him. He's from Minnesota, right? And I say, these two that are always in the center of your mysteries are in Minnesota. You live in Hopedale. Can you do something in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
But he countered me. He said, well, in summer I'm at Martha's Vineyard, and he does have a couple books about the vineyard. I'm like, well, how about out this way more?
Well, he is such an intense,
Oh, yeah.
magnetic personality. I mean, I was really overwhelmed when I met him at the library. When he started his speech. Now, I was terrified being there.
You were?
Oh,
You
I
seem
was.
fine.
Oh, if you see my legs, oh, it's terrible. And my son was the guy with the camera in the front.
That was
filming.
your
That was
son?
my son. Yeah.
That was your son?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, I kill people for a living.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
he, always open with a joke.
Yeah.
And just hearing him talk brought me down and calmed me down, and I was able to. And I had a whole big thing prepared because it was all supposed to be scripted.
No.
And Glenn completely went off script.
Sure.
Then Erin went off script.
Yeah.
Then now what do I do? I've prepared 2 weeks for this. I have all these notes,
You don't need it.
and now I had to go cold turkey.
No, people in the audience, we like to hear you could say, something, this is my first shot and I'm nervous, but this is the way it is. And that's great. Yeah, he, what was the name of his latest book? Not A Cold Killing. That was, killing,
I can't remember
He'd
it.
kill me if I can't remember. But he sent me an email. He signed it, the Cold-Blooded Killer, or whatever that is. I'm like, if I got this from anyone else, I would have been, oh my God. He is something. He's a great mentor for you. He really, really is a great guy. He is hanging in there, and he's healthy for his age, too.
God bless him, yeah.
I know. So anyways, tell us more about Lost Sons.
So it's kind of a, what if you had two people that were given the gift of immortality?
Yeah.
And what would you do with it? And it's kind of a moral study in, is it okay to live a long life or live a finite life and appreciate, we all have, there's an end of everybody's life. It happens. So do you appreciate each day? You try and get the most out of every day you have. But if you don't face that end, what's your outlook on life? Are you like the villain?
Yeah.
And you say, I have thousands of years to build this massive empire, and I'm going to run the entire world. Or are you like Cord, the Viking, where you've seen so much loss and so much pain that you just become a drifter and you just kind of wander from place to place to place. No, you can't stay here because you're going to age.
Yeah.
And then the other morality piece is, okay, the violence, where being a Viking and carrying a sword, his way is more, hit first, kind of ask questions later.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what gets him expelled from the community where he was living.
Yeah.
And it gets him to Alaska, and then from Alaska, the bar fight gets him to look at the paper. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he finds Sagar still alive, and that's vengeance. Yeah. And all of a sudden you see, unfortunately, he has something to live for, but it's vengeance.
Yeah.
And
this is popular stuff now, sci-fi, fantasy. A lot of the young adults are really. You go into an author's fair, like the big one in July in Danvers. They're not alike. I mean, the competition is not. I don't call it competition. They're all different. But it's a nice genre. This is popular stuff.
What I like about writing the contemporary science fiction is it doesn't happen in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah. It's real.
It's right
I mean, there's industrial espionage. There's corporate spies. There's about the oil industry, solar power. I mean, it's two immortal beings that don't like each other, and one person's quest to drag him out and face him, and you have a lot to account for, and basically my role now is to end your life.
Yeah. It just came to you. It just
final exams at Northeastern, 1987.
You went to Northeastern?
Yes.
What did you major in?
I have a degree in marketing and management. I did the dual concentration.
I meet more authors now that have these high degrees, and yet they're cool, and they start writing books. Okay, so you were saying.
Yeah, and I had done like a 3-day cram for an exam, and I had finished it, and I was like, I am in no shape to drive home, so I'm just going to crash. There was the L Student Center where the commuters would go, and just kind of just between classes. I just fell asleep on the couch, and it just started having this bizarre dream, and about whoa. And that guy's he's part tiger. He's this. And I woke up. I'm like, whoa. And my friend's like, you had a really nasty dream. Are you all right? I'm like, yeah. And it kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
And they said, well, I'm going to write this down.
Did you write it down? You wrote it down.
I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and then years later, when I started dabbling in writing, I've always wanted to do it, but you never have the time.
Yeah.
I had some time, so I'll write this, and I wrote like a real short 20-page story, and then I just forgot about it.
Yeah. And
you get on with other things. And like I said, when I was going through the laptop, I found that. And I said, okay, well, I've done the hybrid. Let me try this.
Yeah.
I want to tell the story. Yeah. And, like I said, I've already written the second part of it. Yeah. So the whole tale is already done. That's the book one. The second book, hopefully I can get that out next year or two.
Lost Sons, Greg Ballan. And Greg, how can people reach you if they'd like to buy your book?
Go on Amazon, go to the Latris Publishing website, or go on to my Facebook page.
Oh, what is that? Give that to them. So
just go Google, go on Facebook, go Greg Ballan, and you'll see my writing page. And I have a bunch of pithy short stories.
Ballan.
Ballan, yes.
Right. Now, what was I going to say? Also downstairs in the Upton Library, we have, a lot of people know, we have the dedicated author's wall for local artists. Most of them have been on Be My Guest. And Greg will have a copy of this book down there, right? He's going to leave one for us, the Joy down there. So, well, if you see it on here, very likely you're going to find it downstairs, which is great because people go, I want that book. And instead of having to, if they maybe can't get out of the house or whatever, far away, they can at least say, I think I could go over and get it at the library. And then they get the book, the word out, and people go and buy it on your site. Is it in any of the local bookstores?
No, it's hard when you're working with a smaller press. It's hard. You're like your own manager.
Well, yeah, that's
it's tough to get that inroad into bookstores. I mean, I'm working on it, but it's you have to really have a lot of successful sales, and you have to have a bigger name, and you have to really get out there and promote yourself before they'll even consider you.
I don't know. Being a publicist, I help authors, and what I do is I find the places for them, and then they get in and they give their talks. Many places around here. You get your foot in, like Tatnock. You have a whole presentation room. It's wonderful. Those are just some of the some of the wonderful places. But how far are you on your new book, your mystery?
I'm about 5.5, 6 chapters into it.
That's good. How many chapters do you think are going to happen?
About 13.
Okay, that's pretty good. When do you think it might be finished? The end of the summer? Maybe.
My goal is to have it done by the fall.
Oh, great. So it'll be, what's the name of it?
Sins of the Father.
And it's going to be a mystery.
It's a mystery. It's basically it's a detective who has just seen too much, and he became an alcoholic, and after his partner was shot, and he just kind of lost everything. So he's kind of holed up in the woods by himself, living by himself.
Yeah.
And he gets recruited to find people in the forest. He's a really good tracker.
Yeah.
And he stumbles upon these 2 missing children, and he finds their bodies.
Yeah.
And he gets involved in this mystery. It becomes a narcotics mystery, where he finds drugs by the bodies.
Yeah.
And then little by little he gets more and more dragged into this, and it becomes that there's people are smuggling narcotics up and down the Appalachian Trail.
But how did the kids get involved? The little kids?
Oh, no little kids. These are older kids.
Oh, older. Okay.
Yeah, this is an adult. This isn't a kid's mystery. This
right.
is so it's more, and again it's more again a study of how does one man bounce back, with his own family, and from the wrong that he's done to them, and redeem himself in his own eyes,
sure.
and in the eyes of the people around him.
Wow, how did you think of this one? This is great.
I don't know. It just came to me. Oh, you know what? That's a good. I think I'll go with it. A lot of times, I'll be just sitting there, and an idea just pops in. All right, I like that, and then I go with it. And then other times, I'll think of something, and I'll start it, and it'll just kind of fizzle out. So I figured I'll try this and see where it goes. I wrote a couple of chapters just to get a flavor for the character I was writing about, and it really came out. I liked it, and the people that read the chapter liked this. Okay, I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
So you keep going and going, and again, it's difficult because I'm used to having characters that can do all these amazing things, like Duncan Cord, he has the sword.
Yeah.
He can become a dragon.
Yeah.
Sagar, who's the protagonist, is part tiger. They've been granted immortality, these special gifts. Well, now I have a guy who doesn't have special gifts. He's an ex-alcoholic. He's got forced off the police department, and he's very flawed. Yeah. You're limited. You're boxed into what you can do, which is challenging in a way, but it's also refreshing because you're drawing from a different talent pool in yourself, and you're pulling from different and more research. I don't know about the Appalachian Trail a whole lot.
Have you been up to New Hampshire, the White Mountains?
I've been, yeah.
And I think that's where it goes from there to where?
Then it goes up through Maine. There's 280 miles in Maine, where the story takes place mostly, the mystery part takes place in Maine.
In the woods in Maine.
In the woods in Maine, because that's the most dangerous part of the Appalachian Trail.
It goes out across the country, right?
Yeah, it goes south.
Okay, down towards Virginia?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a hike.
Yeah, so I have the whole map in my room.
Yeah, to follow.
Yeah,
so
to
this
follow
detective, the former detective who's now been recruited, will be having to follow along to find out what happened.
He's got to find all the clues and find out destroyment of his, there's a company that's manufacturing these narcotics.
Yeah.
And they're spiking them.
Yeah.
And so the more he finds, he has to find where the narcotics are coming from,
Sure.
working with the police and the investigators, and then find out, okay, you're making these illegal narcotics, but somebody in your company is spiking these narcotics.
So you think that's how the children died? The young adults died maybe by that.
They were murdered, fortunately.
Oh.
So
Oh,
it's very early on,
Yeah.
and I have most of the outline done.
Yeah.
But
I
I'm back.
love mysteries.
Because when I write,
Yeah.
I like that, and then I'll follow the outline and think, you know what? What if I did this?
Yeah.
And so, a book never ends or follows the exact outline I do.
But
for
you're
it.
good. You can think outside the box. There are no rules nowadays, right? You can do
Yeah.
whatever you want to do and take it that way. Now, did you say that this was the first of a trilogy?
That's going to be. There's the free novella I'm giving away.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Fall of New Atlantis. If you go on my Facebook page, there's a link. Just click the link, type in your email address, and the 55-page novella will be emailed right to your email account.
Okay, give them again that.
It's just go to Facebook, Greg Ballan, writer at Facebook. Just go to my Facebook page, and there's a link, like 3 or 4 sections down, and just click on it, and it'll ask you for your email address, and it'll automatically send you the free novella that goes with that book.
That would be the next one coming up, or this one right here?
Yeah, this one. It's what was cut.
Okay.
All the stuff that they had to cut, I wanted to give away.
So you're going to make a sequel to this, right?
Yeah, it's already done. I just have to get it published.
So okay, you've got that done, and
Yeah.
and in the fall you'll have the mystery done.
Hopefully, yes.
And with working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
It's a good thing the kids aren't little.
Oh, I know.
At least they're out of the house, right?
Well,
So one is still home.
2 are home.
Two
are home and one's out.
2 are home. I know. I've got a millennial too, and they're a riot. Was it? We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
Was it the music or something you were? He was working online. You couldn't figure out what he was doing.
Yeah, my son does a lot of YouTube stuff, and he's a computer genius. He's like a savant.
I think they're all.
And I go down and I watch him, and it's like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, I drop a soundtrack here, I have to import this audio track, and he'll have all these things going on at the same time,
Yeah.
and he's got his music going. I'm like, how do you do this? I mean, I have some videos on my, the interviews on YouTube is my YouTube channel.
Sure.
And he shot the video for me.
Yeah.
And he was kind of on it, helping me with it. And then I was watching him do the editing process, and I'm like, in a million years.
Yeah.
And he's showing me, no, Dad, it's simple.
Well, that's
you
why
just click this. I'm like, what?
I
No,
know.
click this and click this, then you drop the, that syncs your audio track. Now that big squiggle is what you track to
And
now.
you feel a little overwhelmed, do you?
And it's,
I don't too. I go like, don't even bother to tell me I'm lousy at this. Keep it simple. And then I have to write down what somebody tells me. Okay, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on this. These kids in our kids' generation, these millennials, were raised. I know Paul, my camera, he's laughing at me. I'm terrible at this computer high-tech stuff. It irritates me so much, but I need it. But they were raised from kindergarten. Like, there was a computer in his classroom. Little did we know how much this was going to really morph on these kids.
I remember when I was in high school taking data processing, you had those punch cards.
Yeah.
And you had a stack of punch cards, and if you dropped them, you were done.
Yeah.
And you ran them through this machine, and then you had the big printer that was about this long and had the little wheel that spun around.
Yeah.
And then, when I was in college, it was just okay, we're taking finance. We're going to use a product called Lotus.
Yeah.
And it's this big green screen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, who's ever going to use this?
Yeah.
I'd rather I have a ledger sheet. What am I going to use this for? And it's just amazing how the technology in 30 years.
Yeah, and then my son is only 25, and it's like, he isn't one of those kids who's constantly like this. I think he's trying to be a little bit more, more face to face. But I know doggone well he spends a lot of time on that thing. He plays what are those games? A lot of the guys like Call of Duty or
the Call of Duty or Warhammer.
Yeah, let's kill them all.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
It's funny because you look at all these games. I guess they're called first-person shooters.
I don't know.
I guess
it doesn't appeal to me.
And it's like, gee, we wonder why there's so much violence going on. Look at the games. Grand Theft Auto. Yeah.
When we were growing up, that would have been completely banned. Completely. No, it
You
wouldn't
never
even been on
thought
there.
of-
No one would even think of it. Grand Theft Auto, the kid's in jail.
Yeah, we had what was it, Pong? You had the two bars on the side of your TV and the little ball went back and forth.
Yeah.
That was the extent of the video game.
What was that little thing? Oh, God, what was that little munchkin thing?
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Da, 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 da. We
Yeah.
thought that was the cat's, you know what? Okay, it's not anymore. It's still there, though, isn't it?
Yeah, there's like a lot of kids will play it for the retro.
Yeah.
That and Asteroids
Retro.
is the game. So they we have one of the older consoles,
Yeah.
and once in a while my son will get on that and he'll play some of the older
Does he laugh?
games.
No.
Oh, it's just
A different world.
Yeah, it's a different world, and I look back and that's when I feel, wow, I'm really old because I don't.
Things
don't
just
get
happen
it.
too quick. We
Yeah.
had these kids, and then all of a sudden there was this massive.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of baby boomers and Gen Xers was like, what? And these
I
kids.
tried to explain to my 16-year-old what a black and white television was.
Oh.
Or you had to get up and change
Yeah.
the channel. Or the rabbit ears.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't know.
No.
No, they have no clue
No
at all.
clue.
And everything is so easy for them. And your son getting at you like, Dad, it's so easy. Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear this. It's like, well, what's the matter with you?
Yeah.
Don't you know this and that?
Yeah,
We're talking with Greg Ballan, and we get off topic, but it's still so much fun. But you out there who had kids in their 20s, and so you know, Lost Sons, and this is his first book getting out there, right?
In the series, yes.
In this series, there'll be more to this, the sci-fi fantasy, right? But he's got a mystery book coming up, totally leaving the sci-fi for this book coming up.
Yeah.
And what was the name of it again?
Sins of the Father.
Sins of the Father, and this is going to be a real whodunit, and I'm looking forward to that coming up. So, about maybe in September, perhaps.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully. If you haven't got the time to get this terrific book out, where are you going to find the time to do that? You can't rely just on the computer. You've got to get out and speak and do presentations.
I know. This is usually very difficult for me to get out and talk like that.
You're doing great. No, you're
Yeah.
fine.
Like I said, if it wasn't for Glenn, I mean, he would be very calming. He was very calming. Because I mean, my legs were like,
None of us noticed.
oh, and like, no, I have a script. I have notes.
Don't need it because people, if you were at Tatnock and there's a room in the back, I've given presentations there many times. And it's, people, you got to remember, people are coming there because they're intrigued by what you do. They're not watching how nervous you are. They could care less because they couldn't get up there anyway. They're in awe of you. And they're there to hear what you have to say about what's your book and this type of thing. By the time it's done, and you're meeting them and you're signing a book.
But because writing that was an amazing journey because it's any book writing is an amazing journey because you think you're putting yourself out there, and because my biggest gosh, what if she reads it, she doesn't like it, and she goes, yeah, Greg, I read this and meant not my thing. You get nervous, and then
my husband read it. He too often loved it.
You're exposing. I don't want to say you're vulnerable, but you're putting yourself out there, a part of you that this is really who I am. And my writing, it's an escape, but it's what I like to do.
Sure.
It's and I know other authors feel the same way. And then you get that one or two people. This was terrible. This
But
was
you don't
awful.
go that way.
You don't.
Listen to them, thank you for your opinion, and you just keep marching right on.
I got that 1-star review on one of my hybrid books, and I told the story at the library, and I still go back and I look at it, and I'm like why did you like?
Yeah.
And one of my mentors is a Southern human writer named Ed Williams, and I actually called him on the phone like, Ed, I got a 1-star review.
Yeah.
And he's like, look at me.
Sure. You got to start somewhere.
And it's like you really put yourself out there, and you have to have a really thick skin because not everybody's going to like what you do.
Not, no.
And he goes, go Google your favorite writer.
Yeah.
And so I did. And he goes, read. I'm like, oh wow, they have crappy reviews too.
Sure.
And it's like you can't.
That's
you
not your
can't please
identity.
everybody.
You can't put your identity on that.
But it's enjoyable. The process of writing is good, and if you're trying to write to make money, the road to success can be very hard.
Yeah,
if you write because you enjoy
Exactly.
writing, like I said, to me it's an escape. I get to, my mind gets to go places and do crazy things, and things like, only dream about, I can put down in a book. I mean, that was an overstressed senior studying for final exams. That generated that book, the entire thing.
Well, Greg Ballan, we're looking forward to the next book coming out. He's a busy guy. He works 7 days a week. He's got the sequel to this. It's all done, you said.
It's all done.
What is it? Same title?
It's Lost Sons: Battle for Manhattan.
Okay, so it's a sci-fi based in today's world. So that's pretty cool. So that'll be out when?
I'm hoping to have that out sometime next year or the year after.
Okay, so the mystery's going to be out, which is totally unrelated.
Yeah.
Will be out sooner.
Yeah, because The Lost Sons is part of a series, Hybrid is part of a series, and then Sins of the Father is my first attempt to deal with a different genre.
So look for this downstairs in the author's dedicated wall at the Upton Library. And again, how can they get your book?
Through Lachesis Publishing, or Amazon, or BarnesandNoble.com.
Lost Sons by Greg Ballan. Don't miss it. And good luck on the next one, and you will let us know about this mystery. Don't let that go without talking to me.
I promise I won't.
I'm a huge mystery fan. All righty?
All right.
Congratulations. I think this is great. First time out of the gate.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. First time out of the gate, when I went to that Hopedale Book, the library, and I saw you up there, and I'm thinking, first I thought he was a kid. He comes in here, and he tells me he's got kids in their 20s. I'm like, what? I mean, you must have been 10 when you started.
No. Well, we got 23, 24. 24, I think, yeah.
Well, I thought he's just a young man up there, young guy up there, and here's old Gren Lickler, and he's he was terrific. He said, what did he say? I make a living killing people.
Yeah, that was his opening line, and he was good. He was the perfect person to start because he had the big laugh. Go with the big laugh first.
Oh, yeah. That's where I met him many years ago. He gave an individual spiel. Don't forget Milford Library. They also do some stand-ups there with different, I could go on and on with places for you. We'll see you next time and be my guest.